Alright friends, today we are going to be moving on with the next steps of our Gumball machine color wheel project. Today we are going to first of all finish drawing with pencil. If you have not finished drawing your Gumball machine, then you need to finish that first. If you want to put gumballs floating around in the top, that's totally fine. These gumballs are not going to be part of our color wheel. We're actually going to make those gumballs much bigger, and we're going to paint them and cut them out and glue them in the top here. So these gumballs that are just kind of filling up some space, they do not need to be in any specific color or order or anything like that. So once we have finished drawing with our pencil, we're going to use a Sharpie and we are going to trace all of our pencil lines. And you guys are very familiar with this process because we do it so often. We are going to trace over all of our lines, staying on our lines as best we can, making sure that we are holding our paper nice and still. If you need to turn your paper in order to get this circle line traced, then of course you can do that. That helps me sometimes. I'm going to trace all of our details as well, so all of our gumballs that are in the top of our machine. We will get all of these traced. And then we can go on to the base of our gumball machine. One trick that I use when I am tracing to try and keep my lines as straight as possible is I actually move my whole arm, not my hands. So my fingers never move whenever I'm drawing. I'm using my whole arm when I'm making my lines. And that helps keep your lines a little bit straighter. It does take some practice, but that's just something to think about while you are working on your machine. And of course, it does not need to be perfect. We are just doing the best job that we can. I'm going to trace all of my details here as well. I'm going to trace all of these details. And again, sometimes turning your paper helps to keep your lines straight and on your lines. And then our last draw, skip, draw line that goes here. Oops, and can't forget this. Okay, so once we have all of that done, we are going to go back with an eraser. We're going to erase any pencil lines that are left behind. And this just helps our artwork look nice and tidy, makes it cleaned up. Okay. A few more I can see. Okay. And then the very last step for today is we are going to color our gumball machine in. And you can color it in any way that you want. The colors for your gumball machine do not matter. And if you have gumballs floating around in the top of your machine, those colors don't matter either. You can do this however you want. So I would like my gumball machine to look like a traditional machine that you might see in the store. So I'm going to color my base red. And I'm just going to start coloring lightly. I'm going to color the whole base of my gumball machine. And I want to make sure that all of my white paper gets covered up. I don't want to have any gaps in my crayon where my white paper is showing through. So I'm just going back and forth in nice straight lines in order to make sure I'm not skipping any areas. I do not want to color in my door for my gumball, so I'm going to go around that. I want those details to really stand out, so I'm going to do them a different color. Same thing here, I'm going to go around the turner and around the slot to put your coin. Oops, I got something on my paper here. Again, we don't want any gaps of white paper showing through our coloring. So if you can, go in nice straight rows. That always helps to make sure that everything gets colored in smoothly. Now that I have my first layer of red down, I'm actually going to go back with my same red crayon, and I want these stripes that I put in here to be a little darker, so I'm going to go back with my red crayon. I'm going to press harder, and I'm going to color in those details by pressing a little bit harder, and that just makes them show up a little bit more. Gives your artwork a little more interest when the viewer is looking at it. We spent all that time working on these details, so we want to make sure that they stand out and look wonderful. So we're going to color in a little bit harder to make our crayon a little bit more opaque or solid, just like that. So you're going to keep coloring. You're going to color all of these details. You can color in the top of your gumball machine. You can color in your gumballs if you have them floating up here at the top. You can make those all different colors if you want. The only thing I do not want you to color in today is your background. So this area around your gumball machine, this is the negative space, this is positive space, that's where our object is. This is the negative space, and we do not want to color this portion in. We're going to do something special with that at a later date. So when it is time today, you can go ahead and start working. You can color in all of your gumball machine however you want, but again, we are not coloring in the area around our gumball.